The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Lee Zeldin at this point is a legend. I do. He was such a great senator for our state out of Suffolk County. He really did an amazing job. And then he had that spectacular gubernatorial run. It really was. He gave Kathy Hochul a great fight. He had to beat some really impressive guys along the way, from Andrew Giuliani, who was on this show just 2 days ago, to Rob Astorino. I saw Rob in Rockland County on Friday. Harry Wilson, not so much, but he did a tremendous job. And now, running the EPA for President Trump, uncovering billions of dollars in fraud. Day one, Lee Zeldin did that. And yesterday's cabinet meeting, I gave out 2 MVPs, Lee. You like this? I thought that Kelly, I love Kelly, she's in charge of small businesses. I thought she deserved the MVP. And you too, co-MVPs, kind of like Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. When you started talking about the fraud and Stacey Abrams, everybody's eyes at that table lit up. So congratulations, Lee Zeldin.
Well, thank you, Sid, and also a happy birthday today to Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State. Another May 28th birthday right there.
How about that? How old is Marco Rubio? I would have no idea how old Marco is. He's such a young face, young guy.
That's a pretty good question. I think he's almost 10 years older than I am. So I was born in 80. I think he was like early 70s. He's probably like mid-50s right now.
Mid-50s. So you're in, look at you. I just realized, mid-40s. Look what you've accomplished already, Lee. Senator, almost won the gubernatorial, working for the Trump administration. Mid-40s.
Now, you still can't get into Peter Luger's, though. I'm still waiting for my invite, my man.
Oh, God, that was such a funny night. And again, I keep bringing this up because here's Lee. He was running for governor at the time. He was a sitting senator. And he's trying to get into Peter Luger in Brooklyn. And I'm sitting there for my son's birthday for Gabriel. And to the table next to me was Elliot Spitzer. And Lee Zeldin was looking for a table. I think now, Lee, with the work you've done for President Trump, I think you got a table with no problem. Although I don't know, Williamsburg, Brooklyn is very, very, very liberal. You know that, right?
I mean, yeah, I kind of like the story that you could be humbled at any point in life. I mean, it's all good. I remember you and I were stuck on the second row of the Knicks game for a unsuccessful playoff run a couple years ago.
Yes.
Way back in the second row. Very humbled.
I still have that picture.
Are you getting to some playoff games?
I think so. I'm going to try to get to at least one. You actually took a picture across the court of me because I was so tan. I stood out. There's me and Spike Lee. And I still have that picture you took of me that night. And you're right. Then the Knicks were good. They were good. Those are the Julius Randle teams and DiVincenzo. We were good, but not this team. This team is Lee, have you ever seen anything like this before?
It's amazing. And by the way, in my defense, I only took that one photo of you. If I had sent you pictures from the entire game, that would have been weird. This team is awesome. I had an opportunity to make it to Game 2 at MSG against the Cavs. And it's such a wild run. Man, I have so many amazing memories in the 90s, as a teenager. And it was an exciting team. Like when, you had these streaky players, like Starks and Davis and, and Anthony, like they would go out and they would hit, like 6 3-pointers out of in a row. you had MSG hollering for, the 12th man, Herb Williams, to get into a game and get a shot in, and a sixth man in Anthony Mason. I mean, great memories from the 90s, but they didn't punch it over the top in the finals. And I hope this is the year, man, because my whole life, I just point out, 46, never had a chance to celebrate a Knicks championship.
That's true. That's true. It's been 53 years. Lee was -7 the last time. Although, if you listen to the lady that you gave quite a run for, Governor Kathy Hochul, according to her, you have enjoyed a Knicks championship. They just won back in 1993.
Yeah, gosh, I wish. There are probably plenty of nights where, in my dreams, those 90s teams won the championship. I would actually challenge Kathy Hochul to identify the starting lineup of the current Knicks team. I think she probably would have some problems with that.
Yeah.
And by the way, questioning whether or not Donald Trump is a lifelong Knicks fan just shows how much you're not a lifelong Knicks fan, because, I mean, Trump was courtside throughout that run in the 90s and in the 2000s and the 2010s. I mean, until he starts running for president, and he got a little busy with a new full-time job down in D.C.
Yeah,
he was always courtside.
Always. In fact, he was on this show with me, Lee, less than 3 weeks ago. That's on fire in the midterms. And guess what? At the time, the Knicks had just beaten Philadelphia. Hadn't even beaten Cleveland yet to get to the NBA Finals. They had just beaten Philadelphia. It's a quick exchange. Here it is, Lee Zeldin, me and President Trump about the Knicks 3 weeks ago. Are you still a Knicks fan, President Trump?
Well, I am, and I get along with Jim Dolan. I think he's a really nice guy, and he's entitled to a good team because he's suffered a little bit. And, boy, some of these players have turned out to be great players.
Yeah.
It's great. No, I really like Jim Dolan a lot. I'm really happy for him and for the team. I think it's great.
And you're right. Many pictures of President Trump courtside at a Knicks game. I don't got all those pictures of Hochul. But look, I want to move off Hochul and get to what you're doing with the EPA. But what do you think here? Bruce Blakeman, he was on with me literally 30 minutes ago, Lee, right before you. He was my last guest. And he's gained some great momentum. I was in the crowd in Rockland County Friday. I saw President Trump with Mike Lawler. Bruce spoke. He lit the place up. He has cut what was once a double-digit 20-plus point lead in certain polls down to less than 10. What do you think of Blakeman's chances come November?
I think that they just get better every single day. I mean, you see it's reflected in the polls. I mean, you compare 22 to 26. I ran in 22, as you pointed out. In the last 4 years, Republican registration's up, conservative registration's up, non-affiliated voter registration up. The only one that's down is the registered Democrats. And the direction of the state has only gotten worse. When I was running against Hochul, a lot of people really didn't know her. They didn't have her figured out yet. I mean, she's one of those people where the more you know her, the more you dislike her. So, Bruce being able to run against her in 26, she's more of a known commodity and not in a good way for her. And Bruce is a popular county executive in Nassau. This is a county that is just loaded up with Democrats who feel very comfortable, not just to vote for Bruce once, but they voted for him multiple times. They like him. The other thing that really has impressed me with Bruce is how he builds coalitions, like how he'll go out and talk to Democrats and find them where they are. He isn't. This is one of my criticisms I've had through the years, where Republicans or conservatives just wouldn't go to talk uncomfortably to people who haven't supported you. It's easy, for Democrats to talk to Democrats or Republicans to talk to Republicans. Bruce has just no problem talking to anyone and engaging them where they are. And if you care about the future of the state, you want your money to go further. You want to feel safe walking through the street. You want to feel free. You're hitting your breaking point. You have people in your family who are hit it and left. 22, we were talking about saving New York. I thought we were getting pretty close to rock bottom then, but we found new lows since. And Bruce he's the man for the job.
Couldn't agree more. Marco Rubio, by the way, 55 today, Lee. So let me get back to this meeting yesterday because, we've seen a bunch of people in this administration. I love the fact that President Trump is focused on this. Look at the job that Dr. Oz has done. He was in these studios last week, too. Medicare, Medicaid, all that fraud. Your partner out there in Nassau County, Anthony D'Esposito, the job he's done with the Labor Department. He's uncovered billions in fraud. J.D. Vance, who has now been put in charge by President Trump directly with the fraud. And you started all of this with the EPA. You really were the pioneer. Stacey Abrams and billions of dollars from $130 or $103 to $2 billion. I know the president highlighted that yesterday. Congratulations. Why do you think all of a sudden we're finding all this money, and why didn't anybody care before?
Well, for one, the people who were there before were the ones who were trying to reward their friends. And, at the Trump EPA, when we cancel a $2 billion grant to the Stacey Abrams linked NGO, we're not taking that money and looking to give it to a right-wing NGO. It's about giving it back to the taxpayer. When I mentioned yesterday that we've canceled over $29 billion worth of grants, and there's just been so much money that has gone to former Biden and Obama officials and Democratic donors and unqualified recipients. I mean, you pointed out that the Stacey Abrams linked NGO, they got $100 in 2023. They get $2 billion in 2024. I mean, this doesn't pass any type of a smell test, but we're not over here saying, okay, let's take the $29 billion and now give it to friendly right-wing NGOs, to conservative NGOs. I mean, I haven't said that with regards to $1. There isn't $1 out of the $29 billion that I have canceled a grant, and I'm trying to get that redirected to some friend or ally. I take it very seriously. A zero tolerance policy for any waste and abuse. I want to be an exceptional steward of tax dollars. This started before I was even confirmed at the EPA when during the transition, I mentioned this yesterday, some Biden EPA official was caught on video saying that they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, his words, not mine, and they were rushing to get billions of dollars out the door before President Trump got sworn in because they're worried that if they wait that the money won't get out. And they were also talking about how they wanted to score themselves jobs at the recipient NGOs. So it's not even about rewarding friends. It's about rewarding friends and then getting theirs themselves when the administration ends. And so the sirens went off during that transition process. As soon as I saw it, I was like, man, this needs to be a top priority the first moment we get in. And it was. I mean, that doesn't even include the $750 million annually that we now save because of staff efficiencies, the millions saved from real estate consolidations, canceled media subscriptions, a closed Biden EPA museum that no one knew about. Sorry, Sid. I know every time you come to D.C., that was always that was top of your list.
Oh, yeah, number one.
But, yeah, I mean, we're saving a ton of money unapologetically. We love doing it. And I mean, guys, if someone came to me and said, I have an idea on how to save $50, I don't care. Like, you have my full attention. Like, let's save it. You could come to me and save. You could say you know how to save $5 billion. You could come to me and say you know how to save 5,000. And every penny matters.
Every penny. I know you only have 60 seconds to go. What's going on with these chemical tanks across the country? It's not funny. We had one, I guess, implode, killed a person. 9 are still missing in the state of Washington. But I saw you on television a couple of days ago with Tapper. This potential, as you called it, catastrophe out in California, in Orange County, California, with that chemical tank. Is that thing still simmering? Is that still an issue?
Well, the worst case scenario has been averted. Orange County Fire Authority has been a lead agency, and it's been all hands on deck, all levels of government, keeping the tanks cool. There's been, whether it's the deployment of air monitors, watching water quality, making sure that the contents in there didn't end up exploding in a way with a catastrophic failure that would cause other tanks to explode, which, by the way, could have caused not just a mass casualty situation. That's almost like an underestimation of how devastating it could have been. It could have been worse than that.
Sure.
And that's why there was such a big evacuation. But you go through all of those steps to plan for the worst case scenario, but also take steps to make sure it doesn't happen. And at the end of the day, the tank was going to fail. We knew that all along. But the best case scenario of how a tank would fail and what that means for the community is how this has played out because of all hands on deck, everyone doing our part to mitigate it. And listen, I mean, there's in communities all across the country, there's manufacturing, there are different plants doing important work for our country, for our national security, for our economy, and there's a responsibility on their part. There's a responsibility on the part of the government as it relates to oversight. But these companies need to do the right thing by their workers, to the environment, to the community, and making sure you don't cut corners on the technology, cyber, and bad actor agents from abroad. Like there's a lot that you as that company need to take responsibility for to prevent that worst case scenario. In this case, this was a rough few days, fearing the worst, but fortunately we were able to stop it.
Final 60 seconds. You're doing such a great job with the EPA. I'm sure that President Trump wants you to stay right there, but when Pam Bondi was gone, a lot of rumors that Lee Zeldin would be the next Attorney General. I think Todd Blanche is doing a terrific job, and I think everybody's kind of settled in with Todd. I know you love Todd. You were giving Todd Blanche credit yesterday at the cabinet meeting. So are you pretty much resigned to staying at the EPA? Do you still have your sights set maybe on that AG job?
My job, my mind has been 100% focused on EPA ever since President Trump called me the Sunday after the election, asking me to be his EPA administrator. That is where my head is. That's where it stayed. This is what keeps me up at night. I love doing it. I love serving on active duty in the military. I love serving in Congress. I've had some great occupational experiences through the years, but honestly, this has been the best job that I've ever had.
Wow.
And every day, like today, I'm going to head to my office and I'm going to review things that I'm going to put my signature on that's going to be an action that will either be protecting the environment or it's going to be striking that right balance to help grow our economy through advancing President Trump's deregulatory agenda. We'll do more deregulation in 1 year at one agency than entire federal governments have done across all agencies combined across entire presidencies, while also protecting the environment. So every day we're getting shit done, and today's not going to be any exception.
It's your second best job. You've got two beautiful young ladies who I think are still in college, right? They're not going to graduate yet.
Yeah, the girls just finished their second year of college. Absolutely, thank God I know that they're sleeping in the other room, and then not listening to this interview because they'd be like, oh, you know what? Now I'm getting mad at Dad. Sid's right. This is true. Of course, the disclaimer now that I'm always going to have to say is after my amazing family, which also was unable to get into Peter Luger's that night.
And they are amazing. Your daughters are great. Your wife is beautiful. You're all great people. Lee Zeldin, I'm so happy of your success. And I know President Trump picked the right guy. You're an amazing, amazing person. Congratulations. We'll talk again very soon, my buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sid. See ya.
God bless you. Lee Zeldin right there. What a terrific guy. Leads the EPA for President Trump. And he's doing a tremendous job uncovering billions and billions of dollars in fraud while keeping us environmentally safe.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?